We begin with breaking news in Georgia today. The prosecution has ended its rebuttal in the trial of 3 men charged with killing Ahmaud Arbery.
That's right, and now that case heads to the jury. Take a listen, in fact, to one of the final messages that they heard.
This isn't about whether these 3 men are good people or bad people. That's not what this is about. It's about responsibility. It's about holding people accountable and responsible for their actions.
NBC News correspondent Cal Perry joins us now from outside the courthouse there in Brunswick, Georgia. Cal, we just heard a little bit from the prosecution here. Walk us through what she outlined in her rebuttal this morning.
Yeah, so Lisa Donikowski went for the full 2 hours. She was actually interrupted once by the defense team to have some discussions over some of the charging documents. The jury now, of course, has started their deliberations. They started about 30 minutes ago. This was the rebuttal. This was the chance for the prosecution and the state to rebut what the defense had laid out the day before. And part of the defense's arguments, part of what the defense said, according to the family, was some offensive and unfortunate things about Ahmaud Arbery, the victim. And there was a response to that today from the prosecution. Take a listen.
Criminal Defense 101, Step 3. It's the victim's fault. Standard stuff. Malign the victim. It's the victim's fault. I know you're not going to buy into that. It's offensive.
The other thing that was discussed at length is the wording of that quote-unquote citizen's arrest that the defense is using as their defense tactic. The prosecution making it clear to the jury that they would have to witness the crime in person. That is part of the charging documents that the jury was given. As far as scheduling, Aaron, the jury will deliberate today. If there is no verdict, they will deliberate tomorrow. They will break on Thursday for Thanksgiving, again, assuming there is no verdict, and they'll be back on Friday morning. Aaron?
So, Cal, there are 3 defendants here that we're talking about, several charges for each of them. Can you explain to us what the jury is discussing as they're now in that room doing their deliberations?
Absolutely. This is a 9-charge indictment, 9 charges for each of the defendants. I can go through them very briefly. The first count is of malice murder. Then there are 4 counts of felony murder. I want to make the point, the distinguishing without a difference on the murder charges, they each come with a possible 30-year prison sentence. So even though they're called different things, they do end up with the same sentence. 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of false imprisonment, 1 count of criminal attempt to create false imprisonment. It was interesting as we've watched these closing arguments. You have that 3rd defendant, William Roddy Bryan, who was in the 2nd pickup truck and had a cell phone. His attorney saying, look, my client being there, not being there would not affect the outcome of what happened. So basically, he should be viewed differently. The prosecution today going out of their way to saying, no, he was a party to the crime, that he should be treated the same. It'll be interesting, obviously, to see how the jury sort of parses it out. They will have to decide on each of those 9 charges for each of the 3 defendants as they go along.
You know, Cal, we know that there's been a good bit of tension during this trial there. Have you been able to get a sense of the feeling in that community now as we move into the final phase of this trial?
Yeah, and look, we've had demonstrations here. Yesterday, we saw a demonstration between 30 and 50 folks led by the new Black Panther Party and the Black Panther Party. It was loud. It walked around the courthouse, but it really wasn't that disruptive. But it was brought into the courthouse by the defense attorneys who said there should be a mistrial. That seems to be one of their tactics. Today, I'll be honest, Aaron, there's about 2 to 1 number of journalists as there are protesters. It's been a quiet day so far.
All right, Cal Perry for us in Brunswick, Georgia today. Thank you, Cal.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.